Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and today I'm doing a discussion over Utopia. Now, this game, as a disclaimer, was sent to me as a review copy, but I'm not getting paid or anything like that. I'm not threatening, them with a review for money or anything. It's just they reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to cover the game, and I'm like, sure, why not? And typically what I do now is actually investigate in whatever the word is right now that I can't think of. I check out the game and see if it's even, a game I might be interested in, because I don't want to take some game that I know I'm not going to like and then play it and be like, oh, I didn't like this, and then, review it, knowing full well. But Utopia sounded really cool. It's a worker placement game where you are gathering resources to be able to create butterfly effects, to create different worker placement spots based off some alternate effect that happened. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds really neat. And then I played it. And I said this in the solo variant discussion, these discussions are always the hardest for me because it's not, it's never fun to be able to be, kind of gifted a game, reached out to, and then not like the game. And I don't think Utopia as a multiplayer game is bad. I just don't necessarily think it's fun, The theme of the game is really cool. The artwork is great. I think that they're really creative with their time, travel stuff. But the overall actions of the game I felt kind of lacking. So in a multiplayer game, you essentially have workers, which are your ships. And your ships are assigned a different type of knowledge, whether it's military, explorer, politics, culture, and scientist. And those are essentially your resources, which come in with poker chips. And I will say the production of this game is done very well. I think the board is done. The rulebook I really don't like. It's literally like it's just like black text. It looks like a Word document in dark mode so that's what the rulebook looks like. Weirdly worded to kind of make it just felt a little off. That's the only thing that I don't really like. But the poker chips are really nice. The card quality is nice. The boards are okay. I will say, I don't necessarily there's no design on the back of these. At least whatever copy they sent me. Now, this could be a prototype copy. I don't think it is. And if it is, good prototype. But if these are designed or anything in if there is a final version, then ignore this part. But overall, the game design is clean. Everything is laid out where it should be. And so your workers are your ships. And you basically go to various locations and gain poker chips to finish out butterfly effects. The first person to do 3 butterfly effects wins. And when you complete butterfly effects, found the Neanderthal civilization, that is a 1C, alternate time zone. And you read it, and it's you can found the Neanderthal civilization, and it gives you a little flavor text. Or you can banish the Homo sapiens underground. And these kind of, the flavor text for that is just that, it's flavor text. But the big difference of why you would do one over the other is the action up at the top. So founding the Neanderthal civilization gives you an assassinate spot that you can go to, and the other, banishing them underground, gives you science. So whenever you place the alternate time zone, your worker gets to go there, do that action for free, putting a drone on it, so you kind of own that, meaning if other people go, then you also get to benefit from the action. So being able to assassinate twice would be huge in a game. But that's pretty much it. There's action, so the crewmates that you get are from various time periods, and they're all historical figures. The text, which there's not many of, it's either travel or communication text, which realistically just, oh, hey, the communication stone in the first section, that gives me culture or politics if I'm the one who created it. And that goes to slot 1. And if anyone else goes to time zone 1, then my text there, I also get something. And there's games that do that where it's like, oh, you went there, I also get something. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's kind of it. You get some characters with abilities, and the abilities are repeated, like from character to character. Like, you can have ones that are like, oh, hey, whenever you complete a butterfly effect, then you can get 2 knowledge discs of your choice. Okay, well, Alexander the Great has that. Don't really know why he has that, but he does have that ability. And then other characters have that ability. Like, I swear she's in here. Oh, is it not here? Oh, it might be. I swear there was another one. I'll have to find it. But there we go. Napoleon Bonaparte. When you complete a butterfly effect mission, you gain 2 free knowledge discs of your choice. And they're all icon based, but other characters will have that same ability. So the abilities aren't necessarily tied to the characters. The characters are just there for historical, hey, this guy existed at one point, or this guy doesn't exist because they're all the way in the future. So nothing's necessarily exciting, and that kind of bummed me out because the theming is really cool. But when you complete a mission, and the missions can also be fun, like they go way back. Like all the butterfly effect missions are tied to, what time period they're from. So, like for example, Save the Dinosaurs. That's a 1B time zone. So that's obviously tied to the Ice Age kind of time zone. And hey, you can save the dinosaurs, or you can save planet Earth. But saving planet Earth gives you the assassinate icon, and saving the dinosaurs gives you a scientist icon. Well, that's the same thing as the 1C location. You can invade England, which gives you a politics, or you can colonize Vinland, which gives you, I don't remember what that one was. That one is a merchant, where you can trade up to 3 knowledge discs of your choice. So, you get what I'm saying? It's like, saving the dinosaurs sounds like it should be a huge deal, and all it does is give you the science trait, which, I mean, science is used to build techs. But, like, that overall theme sounds like it should be really exciting, but overall it's just not. At least for me. I found that, like, you played the game and you were like, alright. Like, that was a game. Like, that was around. And the other thing that's kind of, weird to me is all the missions, like, some of them just require the same amount of knowledge discs regardless of how many you've completed. So I've personally never found a real reason to, like, and this is dependent on player count, but to go out of my way to get more ships, which are essentially your workers. You start out with 2, and then to get your third one, it requires 2 discs of the type that you don't have. So, for example, if you have an explorer ship and you have your military, but you want to get a scientist, well, you need 2 science chips. And then you go recruit a scientist. But then if you get your 4th one, you need 3. So that means if I need politicians, I need 3 poker chips. And then your 5th one, you need 4. In that case, I would need 4 culture. And you might be thinking, well, that's not a bunch. And it's not, because it's not, like, sounding, but whenever you send a ship to a location of that ship, so let's say I don't have a politician, and I send my military guy to the politician spot, I only get 1. And since I don't have that many workers, and there's only 1 politics spot, it's like, okay, well, I guess that's that. Now, of course, you can always send, let's say I send my explorer to the explore spot. When you send a ship that matches the actual location, you get 2. It's like, okay, well, my explorer got me 2. So then with my other action, I'm going to go to the trade. And the trade lets you turn in 2 of one for 2 of another, which means, hey, there's 2 of my other one. And now I just go and I need a politician. It's my fourth ship. So there's my 3. So again, there are ways to go about it if that's exactly what you're looking for. But at the same time, I never found there was a real reason to, because the missions don't get harder and harder for you to get. Like, there's no level 1 mission. You know, okay, hey, here, this is the first mission I'm trying to complete. It requires, 4 total knowledge chips of various types. Okay, well, that's done. Now, here's my level 2 missions, my level 2 butterfly effects. And there's no second deck of that. So if a mission comes out that you have the ships for, oh, I'm going to go to the mission spot and take that. And then just kind of rinse, repeat. Like, my very first game of playing this, all my missions required military, which I had a military ship, and then, like, exploration, which I already had one. So it was just kind of like rinse, repeat. And I just find that extremely a weird design decision to not have, like, the cool thing for the butterfly effects would be to have kind of like level 1, butterfly effects. They're kind of, they might be noticeable, they might not, but they're not going to be huge. And then your second one, if there was a second butterfly effect deck, okay, yeah, that's kind of a big deal. And then the third one, if that's your third and there's a third butterfly effect deck, that's huge. Like, oh, hey, exploring Antarctica, that is not the same as founding a new religion or starting the industrial or defeat the imperial powers in Africa. I'm looking at these specifically because I just did the solar variant. But there's some, like, that's... Like, they have the alternate time zones, but I don't really care about those. I care more about what these butterfly effects are. And the alternate time zones, still could be neat and an effect. But it'd be really awesome if it's like, okay, that's the level 1 butterfly effects. Exploring Antarctica. Yeah, okay, cool. But the second one, that's founding a new religion or building the Great Wall. Yeah, those are pretty big deals. And then the third one, that's saving the dinosaurs. That's, whatever, going and giving nuclear weapons to some, Neanderthal civilization or whatever it might be. Like, those would all be huge. And that kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, another worker placement game called Overlords of Infamy, where you're this evil mastermind, and your level 1 nefarious plots are just kind of whatever, mild annoyances. It's like, oh, hey, make everyone's socks wet. Oh, that's okay. That's kind of annoying, but yeah, I can move on. And then whenever you get to the third tier, it's blow up the moon. That kind of stuff I would have liked to see in this game, where that, now you're requiring some shit. Now you're required to own multiple techs and have requirements of, hey, no, to do this you need to have this worker. So now you go out and get your worker that you have to. Oh, hey, that's a mission I want to do. That is gonna, that's my third tier one, and I need to go to this, like, kind of like Yido stuff as well, because some of the missions require you to go to a certain time zone. If you had one that was, hey, saving the dinosaurs, that should require you to have multiple techs. That one specifically kind of does, actually. It requires you to have 2 communication techs, but, which that's actually kind of harder to do because you have to wait for them to cycle. But it's still shuffled into the deck. But it was like, hey, you have to have multiple techs, you need to have multiple workers because you need to be in time zone 7 and time zone 4, in time zone 10. Like, which means you need 3 workers there, which means you have to go out and get the knowledge to get more workers. And then you also need the knowledge disc. That to save the dinosaurs, for example, would be cool. That would be like kind of more exciting. It would take more planning. And then the game weirdly adds this stupid cutthroat element in an assassination. There's a spot on the board that you send a worker to that all you do is take someone's ship and you put them in limbo. You take one of your available drones, pop it on the location they were at, and you get to do that action. and they have to spend knowledge discs to get their workers back. It just feels so out of place in a game like this. It's like, oh yeah, we're time travelers. We're going to go see and do this all other stuff, and let's kill that guy. Yeah, it's time travel, so he's not really dead. He's just in limbo, and he has to get out. So it is just like, yeah, let's really dick over this guy for no reason, just to make him spend his knowledge disc. I find it completely out of place here. Yeah, it kind of makes your action economy work a little bit more, but not really, because it's like, oh man, I really wanted to go there. I guess I'll assassinate you, so I still kind of can. Why? That didn't need to be in this game particularly. I didn't find it that interesting. But in a game like where you actually had to meticulously plan and you needed certain resources, yeah, like, it's like, oh shit, you're on your third one? Oh, he's getting really close. Like, okay, yeah, I'll assassinate, so he has to spend... Oh, yeah, now he's one less knowledge short. Like, yeah, you maybe stall out a little bit if the higher level mission... If there were higher level missions. But there's not. So, it's a minor inconvenience to just assassinate someone's ship and just kind of feels completely out of place. But it does slightly remind me of the hero from the Kingdom of Good in Overlords of Infamy, where, at the end of your turn, you roll a die. At the end of your turn, I think it's certain certain spots. Someone rolls the die, and the hero moves around, and you kind of move it into other people's zones to potentially, steal resources or remove resources. That's kind of a little bit what it does here, but that takes some work to get the guy over to their spot to really hinder them. This game, it's just like, oh, and because the knowledge that you pay has to go to someone who has the least amount of butterfly effect missions. So I'm just like, that didn't really need to be in here. But yeah, I find this game just kind of just whatever. The technologies in a game where you think technologies, especially in a sci-fi game, you think the techs are going to be badass, and it's like, oh shit, paper making? Yeah, I guess I'll get a culture or a politics if anyone ever goes to Time Zone 2, then I'll get those resources. Like, and I'm not trying to be redundant or sit here and be like, oh yeah, all you do is place a worker, because I find that annoying in a lot of games where you can do that with literally any game. Oh, in Dominion, all you do is draw and play cards. Like, shit like that. I'm really not trying to do that here, but that is there's 5 knowledge discs that you just collect, and then you spend them and you flip a card. This game, succeeds in theme very, very well. And in production. I remember when I got it, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I need to do a review over this. And then I opened it up and I was like, oh. Poker chips? Wow. Like, the cards were, like, clean and organized. Like, everything fit in the box. There's specific sections. There's not a lot in the box, but it's like, yeah, they have slots for these poker chips. Nothing juts out. It's not weird. They have containers for all the ships that are just have its own section in the inlay. It's a very clean game. And, I mean, it's also not expensive. So, it is on GameFound. They're not promoting this at all. And but, yeah, I mean, you can go late pledge, and it's like $70 US dollars, 60 pounds. It does stretch pay for like 20 pounds or whatever. That's like, what, $26 or something. Yeah, I mean, it's relatively cheap. The artwork is really good. I like that. I like that they range all the way from the Ice Age all the way to... where is it? Boop. All the way to... yeah, the year 2500. Which, I mean, yeah, that's just made up at that point. But, yeah, the butterfly missions that you get, they're all tied to, like, their location. So, hey, you can win the Second World War, first human on Mars. Build a theme park on Ganymede. Construct a Dyson sphere. Explore the outer limits of the universe. But even then, that's the section 13, and that requires 4 exploration and 2 politics. And you go to space 13, and that's a mission. How is that? Like, how is like? And yeah, you look at the explore the outer limits of the universe, and then you're like, okay, well, what's the butterfly effect? So you grab that, and it was. Oh, I was like, where the hell is it? And it was right. Somewhere. So it was 13. But now I can't find it. Oh. It is right somewhere. Yeah. You launch a space odyssey or close encounters of the third kind. And again, that's a science and a engineer location. And the engineer, as an alt zone, lets you trigger one type of tech you control. So, I don't know. I don't find any of like the special actions like particularly exciting. Especially it's like, oh, I'm gonna go there to trigger that tech, which gets me 2 military knowledge. And then I'll spend that to finish a mission. I will say a benefit of the game is that it's not that long. It says 90 to 120 minutes. I don't think it takes that long. I'd say probably 60 to 90 minutes. It's not that complex of a game, but yeah, maybe at 5 players. I haven't played this at 5. So yeah, like that's my thoughts on Utopia on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna go with 5. I think this is a very average game, really cool theme, but unfortunately the gameplay just is lacking in my personal opinion. And I couldn't even be like, oh, maybe this is a good, solid first worker placement game, because the rulebook doesn't really want it to be that. It feels like they want it to be more complex, but also want it to be digestible, so you can't really have your cake and eat it too. It's fine. Utopia is fine. The price point is nice for kind of the production. I think it could, for the gameplay, it could be a little cheaper, but if you're making payments on it through Stretch Pay, might be a little bit easier. I don't know. Again, they're not promoting me to try and sell their game. I just got to tell you what I overall think, and I think Utopia is okay. And that's it. So that's my thoughts on Utopia. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.